Hello my dear student, welcome back once again on my platform. So in today's video, I am going to start the indefinite integration portion. As we already know, integration is very important portion for the 12th class as well as for the IIT JEE also, because when you observe the integration differentiation part, there is a 40% weightage in the JEE mains exam. Okay, so in detail we are going to cover the full integration. You will get daily video from my side, and if you are 12th class student, if you are preparing for the IIT JEE, you must go for this video at least one time. Okay, so without any delay, let's start this session. In today's session we will discuss introductory part, and definitely we are going to introduce some important formulas also. Okay, first let me discuss who introduced the concept of integration. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the principle of integration, you have to remember two names. The very first name, Sir Isaac Newton, and second is the Leibniz. Okay, these two created the principle of integration, and it's a big revolution in the mathematics. Why it's a big revolution? Because there are lots of problems which we are solving with the help of the integration tool. Okay, so it's a biggest revolution in the mathematics. Ma'am, generally, like whenever we are studying the integration, we are doing lots of calculation, we are using the lots of formula, but we are not getting the idea like actually where we are using the integration portion. So even in your surrounding also, there are lots of example in which we are using the integration. Suppose that you have any circle, and I am asking you, beta, what is the area of the circle? You will say me, ma'am, area of the circle is pi r square. Very good. If we have triangle, and I am asking what is the area of the triangle, you will say, ma'am, it's very easy, half base into height. But suppose that I am giving you any curve. Okay, suppose that I am giving you any curve. Let us consider this is my curve. This is my curve, this is my y-axis, this is my x-axis, and I am asking, can you find area under this curve? Can you find area under this curve? Now there is a problem, because you don't have any general formula to find out the area under the curve. Okay, so to find the area under the curve, we are going to use the integration portion. We are going to use the principle of integration. Okay, suppose that I gave you two curve. Instead of one, I am giving you two curve. This is my first curve, this is my second curve. So definitely these two curve are going to bound some area. These two curve are going to bound some area. Are you able to find this area with general formulas of area of the circle, area of the triangle? No. So to solve these type of problem, still you need the concept of integration. Okay, suppose that I have one spline. Okay, I have one curve, and I want to find out the length of this curve. What is the total length? Because if it is a straight line, then it is very easy for us. But if it is a curve, now we have to find out the total length. So how you are going to find the total length? With the help of the integration. Okay, with the help of the integration. Suppose that I have one parabola, and I am revolving this parabola, or basically we can say that I am rotating this parabola on the y-axis. So what you will get? Can you answer me? What you will get? You will get paraboloid. Okay, so to find the volume also, we are using the concept of integration. So there are lots of example of integration, and it's a big revolution in the mathematics, as I already told you. Okay, whether you are going to find the area under the curve, whether you are going to find the area of the paraboloid, because when you rotate the parabola, you are going to get the volume like this. That you have to find out with the help of the integration. Or whether you are going to find the arc length, all these application are totally based on the integration. Okay, now you have idea who created integration, or who are responsible for the principle of integration. There are two names, Sir Isaac Newton and Leibniz. Okay, and now you already know about the applications also. So without any delay, let's start some another part of the discussion. Whenever you are going to deal with the integration, you are getting these type of symbols and equations, functions, basically these type of symbols and function. Okay, so what is the meaning of this spline kind of tool? Why I am saying this is tool? Because this tool is performing the integration. Okay, so this is known as the integral sign. What is this? This is known as the integral sign. Okay, the function like in which you are going to perform the integration process, that function f of x is known as the integrand. Okay, what is the name of that function? Integrand. And definitely if you have any function, suppose that you have any function of x, so definitely x is variable term, that's why you are going to integrate it. Okay, that's why you are going to integrate it with respect to x, so that dx is known as the variable of integration. Getting my point or not? This is the integral sign, this is known as the integrand, and the term with respect to that you are performing the integration, that dx is known as the variable of integration. If you are taking dy here, so you have to put the function of y here. If you are taking dz here, you have to put the function of z here basically. Okay, so this is known as the variable of integration. Now let's talk about this gx. What is this gx? This gx is basically known as the primitive, or we are saying integral, or we are saying antiderivative. Okay, why we are saying antiderivative? Because basically the definite integration is the reverse of definite integration is reverse of differentiation. I will show you why we are saying all these things, why integration is the reverse process of the differentiation. Okay, I will show you, don't worry about it. So this gx is the final product, we can say, in terms of production. Okay, this gx is the final product. Like, do you have any function, you will perform the integration on the function with respect to dx, then finally you will get another function. That another function is known as the primitive, integral, or antiderivative. Why we are saying antiderivative? Because when you perform the differentiation portion, when you perform the differentiation on this function, again you will get your original function, again you will get your original function plus some constant. In the indefinite integration, always we are introducing one constant, and this constant is known as the constant of integration. This constant is known as the constant of integration. Okay, now we have proper idea. If we are going to perform the integration process, first one we have integration sign, then we have to introduce integrand, like the function on which we are going to perform the integration. Then we have to decide variable also, like with respect to x we are going to perform integration, with respect to y, with respect to z. Okay, so this is variable of integration. Then we will get the final product, that is our antiderivative. What is the meaning of antiderivative? When you perform the differentiation on gx function, again you will get your original function f of x plus constant. Always remember, whenever you are going to perform the indefinite integration, you have to add plus constant always. You have to add plus constant always. Now there is a question, ma'am, why we are adding this constant? What is the purpose? And what we will get if we are not putting this plus constant after the integration? Okay, let's discuss this thing also. Let's discuss this thing also. What I am going to do, I am going to consider two examples. Suppose that I have two function. The very first function is f of x is equal to the x square, and I have one more function. Let us consider g of x, that is your x square plus 9. Okay, I have two function. We know already the concept of differentiation. Can I differentiate? Yes, definitely we can differentiate. What is the differentiation of f of x? F dash x or f prime x is the symbol of differentiation. Okay, what is the differentiation of this function? X square differentiation will become 2x. X square differentiation will become 2x. And what is gx basically? What is gx? Gx differentiation g dash x. Okay, and x square differentiation, again you will get 2x. And differentiation of 9, what is differentiation of 9? 0. It means again you are getting g dash x is equal to the 2x. G dash x is equal to the 2x. Okay, as I already told you, integration is the reverse of the differentiation. Okay, is the reverse of the differentiation. Okay, so what you will get, like suppose that I am going to do the integration of these functions. Okay, so what is the integration of these function? I is equal to the integration f dash x. I am going to integrate f dash x dx. Okay, let's put the value of f dash x. Let's put the value of f dash x 2x into dx. Okay, you have problem with the constant now. In this example, we are not going to introduce any constant. So what is the integration? 2 is a constant term, and integration of x is x square by 2. I will show you how we are finding the integration of x, okay? But once you integrate x, you will get x square by 2, okay? So this 2 will be cancelled out, you will get only x square. Now let's do the integration of g dash x also, okay? You are getting the same function, na? That's why we are saying integration is inverse of differentiation. That's why we are saying like the product is the antiderivative, because when you differentiate it again you will get 2x, again you will get 2x, okay? Or we can say that f dash x. Now try to understand. Let us consider we are going to integrate 2x, like g of x basically, that is again 2x, okay? If you will not introduce constant, again you will get x square. But your gs function is not x square, na? It's a x square plus 9. If you will not introduce any constant, then try to understand the same function you considered for the differentiation, and if you are doing the integration of differentiated function, then definitely you have to get the same function again. In this case, you are not getting the same function. Here you are getting x square, here also you are getting x square. Try to understand. Here you are getting x square, here also you are getting x square. So that's the problem. Ma'am, why? What is the problem? We are not getting the original function, na? Our gx function is x square plus 9. But if just because we are not introducing constant, we are getting only x. Okay, ma'am, I got it. Suppose that I am introducing plus constant. So how we will get our original function? Please add constant. Let us consider this is c constant, this is c dash constant. Okay, now after the integration, when you introduce the constant, now you can define your constant, na? Now you can define your original function is x square. So in this particular case, what you are going to consider, this constant will be equal to the 0. And as your gs function is x square plus 9, you are introducing one constant. So that constant you can introduce equal to the 9, na? 9 is a constant term. So after introducing 9, you will get x square plus 9 again. Then after you will be able to gain your original function. Okay, that's why in the indefinite case, it is very important to introduce one constant basically, so that you will get your original function. And that's why we generally say indefinite integration is the reverse process of the differentiation. Okay, so hope so you get proper idea why we are introducing the constant in this concept. Okay, now you have proper idea. Let's go for some important formulas. Okay, the very first formula is x to the power n dx. Whenever you have x to the power n, you have to integrate it, na? So how you are going to integrate it? The formula is x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Okay, now I am giving you one idea also. Like suppose that you are doing the differentiation of x to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Okay, let's do the differentiation. When you do the differentiation, this is the constant term, so you don't need to do anything because it is in multiplication. What is the differentiation of x to the power n plus 1? N plus 1 x to the power n plus 1 minus 1. So both value will be cancelled out. These bracket will be cancelled out, and what you will get? X to the power n. X to the power n. Now try to understand, when you are performing the differentiation of this function, you are getting this value, the values are reducing, and when you perform the integration as we are doing here, again you will get your original function. Okay, so if you are performing any differentiation on a function, you are getting x to the power n. If you want back your original function, perform it integration portion, again you will get the same function plus constant. Getting my point or not? So like whenever you are performing differentiation and then you will perform the integration, you will get your original function back. Okay, that's why it's a reverse process. So whenever you are going to perform the integration of x to the power n, always consider x to the power n plus 1 divided by the n plus 1. Okay, now let's talk about d by dx of x. What is the d by dx of x? 1. Okay, so whenever you are performing the integration on the 1, you will get x again. Okay, so the integration of dx only, because 1 into dx again will become dx. Integration of dx will be equal to the x plus constant. Now you have knowledge why we are introducing this constant basically. Okay, now let's talk about integration of cos x is always equal to the sin x plus constant. Why? Because when you perform the differentiation of sin x, what you will get? You will get cos x. You will get cos x, and if you want your function back, perform the integration on the final product of differentiation. So when you perform the integration of the cos x, you will get sin x. Reverse, reverse, reverse. Getting my point or not? Sin x integration differentiation is cos x na, so cos x integration is sin x. Now let's talk about d by dx of minus cos x. So my cos x differentiation is minus sin x, and there is one more sinus minus sign basically. So what you will get? You will get plus sin x. So when you perform the difference integration of sin x, you will get minus cos x. Getting my point or not? So you can relate all the formulas with the help of the differentiation formula, so that you will be able to remember all the formulas very easy. If I am going to do the sin x integration, first I will think about it like sin x cos x. What is the product of in the differentiation? Like we are differentiating cos x na, then we are getting minus sin x. We are differentiating cos x, then we are getting minus sin x. So sin x integration must be equal to the minus cos x. Okay. Similarly, what is the differentiation of the tan x? You will say, ma'am, sec square x. So when you do the sec square x integration, what you will get? Again you will get tan x. These are the term which are the final product of the differentiation. And once you perform the integration basically process on these function, again you will get the original function. So always remember, the sec square integration is tan x. The sec square integration is tan x. Okay. Now let's go for some another formulas. Cosec square x. Don't look at the right hand side. First we will discuss where we are getting, when we are getting cos square x. When we are differentiating minus cot x, then we are getting minus cot x differentiation minus cosec square x. There is already one minus, so you will get plus cosec square x. So this is the value in the differentiation which you are getting once you differentiate the minus cot x. So no doubt, when you integrate cosec square x, what you will get? Minus cot x plus constant, minus cot x plus constant. Okay. Now let's talk about differentiation of sec x. What is the differentiation of sec x? You will say, ma'am, differentiation of sec x is sec x and tan x. Sec x and tan x. Now it is easy for us, for you now. Once you integrate this sec x tan x, what you will get? Your original product, that is your sec x. That's why we are saying the integration of sec x tan x is equal to the sec x plus constant. The integration of sec x tan x is equal to the sec x plus constant. Okay. Now what is the differentiation of minus cosec x? What is the differentiation of minus cosec x? Cosec x basically cosec x, and I am considering minus. Okay. So differentiation of cosec x is minus cosec x and cot x, but we are considering one more minus na, so we will get plus cosec x cot x. Okay. Now try to understand. Suppose that you are integrating this portion cosec x cot x, so what you will get? Your original function minus cosec x. So always remember, the integration of cosec x cot x is equal to the cosec x. The integration of cosec x cot x is equal to the minus cosec x. Okay. So this is all about the formula number 8. Now let's talk about formula number 9 also. We have dx upon under root 1 minus x square. First think about it, when we are getting 1 minus x square in a differentiation portion, when we will get this value, you will say, ma'am, when you differentiate sine inverse x, when you differentiate sine inverse x, you will get 1 upon under root 1 minus x square. Okay. In the integration, this is the result, and when you perform the integration on the result, you will get the original function. Okay. So you are thinking, ma'am, 1 upon under root 1 minus x square we are getting when we are differentiating sine inverse x. क्लिक हो गया, आसानी से क्लिक हो गया. So the integration of under root 1 upon under root 1 minus x square will be equal to the sine inverse x, sine inverse x. Okay. Now let's talk about this formula. Whenever we are taking the integration of cos inverse x, again we are getting same value but with negative sign, that is your 1 minus x square. Okay, so if I am introducing one more minus here, so this minus and this minus will become positive because I am multiplying minus sign both side. So like if you are taking dx upon under root 1 minus x square na, the same integration you can consider in the case in terms of cos inverse x also, but you have to consider negative sign. Or we can understand the same formula in a different way. What I am saying, what is the differentiation of cos inverse x? You will say ma'am minus 1 upon under root 1 minus x square. So I will say whenever you are considering 1 minus times of 1 upon under root 1 minus x square integration, you always get cos inverse x. Okay, if you don't want minus sign here, you can shift this minus to the right hand side. So this will become minus and this will become positive. That's the thing I am representing in formula number 8. In formula number 8. Okay, so first remember all the formulas of differentiation. Now it will be very easy for you to remember the formula of integration. Formula of integration. Okay, now let's talk about the formula number 11. 1 upon 1 plus x square. When you are getting in differentiation, when you are getting 1 upon 1 plus x square, you will say, ma'am, when you do the differentiation of tan inverse x, when you do the differentiation of tan inverse x, you will get 1 upon 1 plus x square. And when you do the differentiation of cot inverse x, you will get minus times of 1 upon 1 plus x square. Okay, so try to understand 1 upon 1 plus x square integration will become tan inverse x. Again, when you integrate it, again you will get this value. When you integrate it, again you will get this value. The same formula I represented as a 12th formula. Okay, 1 upon 1 plus x square, you can mention it like if you are going to shift this minus to the left hand side, so this will become minus and this will become positive. So what you will get? Minus cot inverse x plus constant. Okay, getting my point or not? So this 11th formula, 12th formula, you can easily remember with the help of the differentiation of tan inverse x and differentiation of minus cot inverse x. Okay, now let's talk about what is the differentiation of sec inverse x. What is the differentiation of sec inverse x? You will say, ma'am, the differentiation of sec inverse x is under root x 1 minus x square, 1 upon x under root 1 minus x square. So no doubt when you integrate this portion, again you will get sec inverse x. So always remember, whenever you are going to do the integration, whenever you are going to do the integration of dx upon x under root x square minus 1, again you will get your original function, that is your sec inverse x plus constant. Okay, similarly if you are taking minus sign, suppose that you are differentiating cosec inverse x, cosec inverse x. Okay, you are going to differentiate the cosec inverse x. What you will get? This is my cosec inverse x. So you will get minus times of 1 upon x under root 1 minus x square. The same thing you are getting here. When you integrate like minus times of x upon under root x square, you will get plus cos inverse x. But what we are doing, we are shifting this minus toward right hand side, so this will become positive and this will become negative. This will become positive, this will become negative. This is positive, this is negative. Okay, let's go for a question exam, not formula number 15 basically. Let's go for formula number 15. Okay, so here also like you are getting same, I think 14 and 15 repeating itself. Okay, so just ignore this formula because 14 and 15 repeating itself. Let's go for another formula directly. That is your formula number 16. That is your formula number 16. Okay, if you are doing the differentiation of log mod x, what you are getting? What you are getting? 1 upon x. 1 upon x, simple. So if you will do the integration of 1 upon x, what you will get? Log mod x plus constant. Okay, whenever you are doing the differentiation of a to the power x upon log a, what you are getting? What you are getting? Only a to the power x, only a to the power x. So when you perform the integration of a to the power x, you will get a to the power x upon a log a. Very simple. Okay, so try to understand, my dear, try to understand all these formulas are important. If you want a good command on the integration na, you have to remember all these formulas. So in today's session, I completed the introductory part, like application part, who invented the principle of integration. Now we introduce some very important integration formulas also. So in the next session, we are going to solve some very interesting and conventional question of simple integration. Then we are going to add one by one different type of integrations. Okay. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you understand all these formulas. Please revise it, then come back again for the second lecture. Okay, tomorrow I will upload the second lecture, so you can complete the indefinite integrations side by side with the help of my lectures. Even if you have any suggestions, anything which is going on in your mind, like any doubt, you can mention in the comment section. You're most welcome. Thank you very much. Please subscribe the channel and share with your friends also. Thanks a lot and goodbye.